next, we're going to have the founders of another innovative company. Those folks are from DrinkMaple, Kate Weiler, who's coming up to the stage now, and Jeff Rose. How are you, Kate? Good to see you. Have a seat on the Livestream lounge. Jeff, how are you? Good to see you. I saw you guys around the event a few different times, but every time I saw you, you guys were crushed by people who wanted to talk to you. It feels like DrinkMaple has come so far in such a short amount of time. I mean, I remember you came to our office, what was it, like 3 years ago, and like it was just an idea, and it was in a Tetra Pak, and now you're nationally in CVS, you're doing all kinds of amazing things. So I wanted to start there. In terms of like a retail and distribution, what does your footprint look like, and where in the country are you, and in what stores?
So, as you know, we started 3 years ago, and we were reminiscing, too, about how we launched on May 12, 2014. I think it was BevNet was on, it was that week, and we still ended up coming here, and it's just been a great community and great networking. We met a ton of people here, and have really helped us help grow the company. So, thank you for that. And
thank you.
From a
as people always tell me when I say things like that, they're like, "Oh yeah, the check is in the mail." I can't mail you a check. I don't have that kind of cash. I'll ask Craven one of these days. But anyway.
Yeah, but it's a great event. It's amazing to see the amount of people here. This is probably, or I would say, this is definitely one of the biggest New York City events that I've been to. But so distribution's been great. We've added a lot of new retailers. We're in the Northeast. That's our home. So we are primarily have a lot of distribution there. We're in most every grocery store now in the Northeast. We have expanded through national distribution with Kroger, CVS. We got Sprouts this year, so that helped us get some footprint on the West Coast, adding new Whole Foods regions, and just continuing to grow. So it's been exciting 2017 so far.
I didn't really explain what DrinkMaple is. It's a maple water brand, organic maple water brand, and you guys are literally taking the sap from trees. But I don't want to butcher exactly how you produce this and how you sell it. So Jeff, can you explain to our audience what DrinkMaple is and what the water actually is and how it's sourced?
Yeah, so it's a fairly simple concept in the sense it's just the maple sap from the tree before it gets made into a maple syrup. We don't add water, we don't add syrup. It's the raw ingredient of maple syrup. So it takes 40 gallons of maple sap or maple water, we use that interchangeably, to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. So it's a really great natural hydrator, similar to coconut water where it's a single source natural hydration, but it has half the sugar.
So since maple water kind of came to the forefront as, I don't want to call it a mainstream concept, but there are a lot of articles written about it, a lot more media coverage about maple water. You mentioned coconut water as sort of an example of the nutrient benefits. 3 years after sort of the emergence of maple water, there's still an education curve. There's still an awareness curve for sure. What steps are you taking to educate and build awareness around maple water in your brand?
So really we want to get this in the hands of as many people as possible. So once people try it and they understand it, people get very addicted. They're loyalists, they're evangelists, they're really screaming from the rooftops about the brand. Like you said, it's an education process, so making sure people understand that this isn't syrup or water mixed with syrup and that this is what's coming straight from the tree. So we do a lot of demos, we do a lot of grassroots stuff. We're very scrappy, we're not putting billboards up. I'm sure being in Boston, you saw our Hubway partnership.
Yes, I did, yeah.
That was our first, I would say, non-grassroots marketing that went really well. Hubway was an amazing partner throughout the thing and was really great working with a small brand like ours. So it got a lot of attention. But primarily we did activations with Hubway, so we were handling it out to people and really making sure that marketing was driving people to the stores to drive sales and not just doing lofty marketing and making sure that everything we do drives those sales.
Well, let's talk about the Hubway campaign. The Hubway campaign, shared bike kind of system that they have in Boston, similar to City Bike or City Bikes here in New York City. What made that such a good partnership? What made that? What did Hubway have that sort of aligned with the values of DrinkMaple?
So our culture in their story really is founded on, we're triathletes and doing this Ironman in Montreal, and we have a lot of athlete brand ambassadors, and really our core culture of a company is based around health and wellness and getting active and being outside. And we just love that Hubway is encouraging people to get on the bike commute, fewer cars. And it's a great platform, and it made sense to do it in a place where we have high distribution. we have a lot of distribution in Boston. Would never have done this in another city at this point in our life cycle as a beverage company, just because we don't have the distribution to make sense. But they really worked with us in terms of getting those activations. We did it in front of Whole Foods Ink Block, which is a huge store for us in driving velocity, so we're able to really gain that awareness that people are riding their bikes to Ink Block, South Station, which is near the CVS, and then really by Copley as well. So they really worked with us. They were understanding. They knew we weren't a big, beverage or had a lot of marketing dollars, so we were really thankful in that regard.
So you don't have a lot of marketing dollars because you're investing so much in actual production.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure as well. Jeff, that's your end of the business for sure, at least your specialty. What's that been like to really run the production as opposed to some other companies which are, just co-packing and doing just sales and marketing?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a double-edged sword where, there are days I dream that I'm able just to call a co-pack and say, give me 100,000 cases next Tuesday because all the ingredients are there. But the other side of that coin is, there's a barrier of entry. Not many people can do what we do. We have a dedicated maple water facility in northern Vermont that's dedicated to creating the highest quality maple sap available. And we also just got finished building a 10,000 square foot juicing facility in upstate New York to really give us the ability to create the first shelf-stable watermelon water. Yeah. So both those facilities are both up and running really well right now, and it gives us the ability to create a high-quality product that's not easily duplicated or replicated.
You mentioned DrinkMelon, your watermelon juice product. Zoe Feldman, who's the managing director of Cleveland Avenue and a judge for the New Beverage Showdown this morning, was singing your praises. She's like, I pulled some watermelon juice out of the fridge, and she's like, "Oh, you got to start drinking that DrinkMelon." I'm like, "Okay, of course, I know DrinkMelon." What's that been like to kind of to move into a new product that has, nothing to do with maple water? I mean, it's a completely different product.
It's definitely interesting in the sense that you talk about that education curve. There's not as much of an education curve there. People understand watermelon, so immediately the demand when we put it on the shelf for an organic and a shelf-stable watermelon water just skyrocketed. And quite frankly, we had to build this production facility to keep up with demand. So when we originally launched, it's interesting was when you start as a beverage company with maple water, we had no infrastructure. We didn't have brokers. We didn't have a sales team. We didn't know anything. And then you introduce a product that people understand and want and have that infrastructure, all of a sudden that it's just on a rocket ship. Yep. And we learned quickly that we needed to be able to build a facility to meet demand and keep quality control high. And so that's really, we were able to raise some capital, and Jeff was dedicated his life for the past 6 months to really building that. And we say build it, and Jeff does it with his own two hands. I mean, he has a little bit of help, but he's a former contractor, so this is not just hiring people to do it. He's really building himself.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. You dedicated your life to doing what you do. And I don't want to guess, but being where you are 3 years in is, I think, where a lot of the entrepreneurs want to be. I mean, could you have imagined that you'd be here right now and have this kind of brand 3 years ago?
It's surreal some days.
Yeah, I mean, we still feel like we have so much work to do, and there's so much white space, and we've got a lot of opportunity. So it's hard for us to take a step back and say, okay, this is where we want to be, because I think we're so competitive. We always want to be better and better.
Yeah,
and
we don't pat ourselves in the back.
But I think 3 years ago, it's just so different coming here, being a little bit of a deer in the headlights, not knowing anybody, and then now you walk around, and it's quite amazing to see the people that we've been able to build relationships with and create a team to help us get to where we are.
Yeah, it was a perfect segue, because I was going to ask you about building that community. At Beverage School yesterday, I really implored the attendees to really build a community, talk to your fellow entrepreneurs, talk to the speakers, get as many business cards as you can, because you'll never know when you'll connect again with those people. Those people might just help you be the next great brand. Who are some of those folks that have helped you along the way and that have got you to where you are today?
So you mentioned Zoe Feldman. So John Landis from BevNet introduced us to Zoe 2 years ago today, or 2 years ago at BevNet Live in New York City. Had no idea who Zoe was. I guess we just really connected, stayed in touch, and it wasn't as if we were talking about raising money at that point from her, but the relationship just continued, and we were able to get money from Cleveland Ave just a couple months ago. So you never know who you're going to meet. It's always been amazing. I'm so thankful for that introduction. I mean, looking over at the wall, and I can picture John, pulling me over and just introducing me to her.
Shorter hair.
A little bit shorter hair, yeah. So, yes, that's been an amazing connection. Yep. Our attorney, Jeremy Halpern's here. He's did a bunch with Nosh. He's been phenomenal with us. And then our co-packer as well. We talk about production. We do the ingredient, but Jeff Sokol, who's usually here at BevNet, he's a great person as well that's been behind us.
Yeah. Jeff, who's been a mentor to you? Aside from all these people that you talked about.
There's a lot of great, I'm trying to think of who we've had conversations with. I mean, BevNet's always a great resource to be, not to be that promoting thing on your side of things. Neil Kimberly from Essentia's, he's a true wealth of knowledge. I'm trying to think of who else we've had conversations with.
Even today, I would say with Neil, someone was asking like, "Oh, what's your connection?" And we just met him at BevNet, and he's been a great just helper, and there are a lot of really altruistic people here too. I think that sometimes there are people that are not, but there are a lot of good people here that you can meet and really help you, because this is a tough business. It's cutthroat. This isn't easy. I think we have you look at a lot of entrepreneurs and don't really realize the lack of sleep, the stress. You see the unicorns and butterflies sometimes, but not always the dirty side of things. And this is a really tough business, so it's really nice to have a community here of people that get it.
I mean, that's a good question in terms of work-life balance. That's always something that people talk about. They've got families or they got their own personal lives and things like that. But when you're running a beverage company, your beverage company is your family.
It
is your baby. It is your life.
Yeah.
So how is there a work-life balance?
It's horrible. I mean, I
don't ask Jeff about work-life balance.
I was home 5 days in the month of May.
Yep.
It's not looking a whole lot better for the month of June. We sleep on the floor of the office during production. It's not fun. And the lipstick is completely off the pig when it comes to the beverage industry.
Well, I mean, this is all
Don't
great.
do it, kids.
Don't do it.
No, this is all great perspective. Again, I think, you go up on stage and you see someone like Jamie Denick, from
She was
Hum
awesome,
Kombucha.
by the way.
She's
phenomenal.
incredible. And she goes up there, and she did talk about some of the pitfalls and some of the stumbles that they've had. And she's like, finally, we have money and we can actually do the things that we need to do to grow our brand. But I think you see these shining beacons, and sometimes you don't realize I'm sure breaking kombucha jars and like spilling a lot of maple water and things like that.
Yeah.
Being on an airplane 8 to 10 days a week.
Is that what? Really?
Right now, it's a lot of airplane travel.
Oh my gosh! Why are you traveling so much?
Different reasons, I would say. Retailer calls, tabletop shows, and stuff right now. With all those sales things, Jeff's doing a lot of stuff on the production side of things for Watermelon, so he's traveling around a lot in that regard.
Yep.
And then, we're working on brand evolution and things like that with where we're going with DrinkMaple, DrinkMelon. So it's making sure that we're being able to evolve as a brand and create a brand that transcends both these SKUs and enable us to bring into more SKUs into that platform. So we're working on branding evolution and design and things like that. So we're it's everything. We might have our focuses of what the two of us are doing, but at the same time, we're both doing a lot.
And we have a great team. We have a great team.
We have a phenomenal
As much as I'd like to take credit for everything we've done, we've got a great team that's enabled us to build to this point we're at right now.
Yeah.
Last question. What's the next thing we're going to see from DrinkMaple?
We'll tell you at Fancy Food.
Fancy Food is like next Sunday. You can't tell us here? No, I'm not going to put it on yet.
Oh, yeah.
As long as it's a BevNet exclusive, you know the deal.
I know. Allison she's already like, we're giving BevNet exclusive. I'm saying, yes, of course.
If you hear Jerry Kermouche from Beverage Business Insights knocking on your door and calling you up, you're like, I'm sorry, Jerry. You're going to have to wait in line like everyone else at Fancy Food Show.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah. That is right.
Kate, Jeff, this has been phenomenal.
Yeah, so fun.
I have so much respect for you guys. We're not on the entrepreneurial side. We write about entrepreneurs. And it just makes me so happy and so proud to see everything that you've been able to accomplish to this point.
Oh, thanks, Ray.
So thanks so much.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you so much.